draft team had to sneak that in there, but I'm getting a sneaky suspicion we're almost ready to start our grand finals.
Yeah, we got 2 players, 2 dog decks, 5 games maximum. First player to 3 games won will be our Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent champion. We'll get that invite to the Disney Lorcana World Championships. Unfortunately, we only have 1 invite to give. There's an argument both players have earned it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ross. And I was talking previously to both of our players before we sat down to get into this match, and they both said something very along the lines of some similar winners in the past. Job's not done, and job is not done yet.
It is not, but look what they've gone and put on the table. Tantalizingly close to both of our players. It is that Disney Lorcana Challenge Champion Trophy. Oh, so one of these players is going to be close enough to touch it, but the game is going to end and they're going to be told, no, that's not for you. You didn't win this untimed best of 5.
Yeah, and not only have our players battled through 8 rounds of Swiss, today they also battled their way through 4 more rounds of Swiss best of 3 into a top 32 single elimination, all the way until we had a finalists from day 1 being Zan Saeed from Friday, and day 2 being David Restivillo.
I'm going to go
really
David Restivo. I apologize.
Restivo, I apologize. I am so very sorry. But they're both here, and we are ready to find out who is going to be the grand champion of Disney Lorcana Challenge here in Ghent.
Well, we are in the altering hand phase at the moment. That means both players can look at their opening hand of cards and they can keep whatever they want, and any they don't like they can put back for a random card from their deck. And generally speaking, if your hand looks good, you don't mulligan very much, you don't alter your hand very much. But if your hand looks bad, you can go for a full hand refresh if you like. Now, it does seem like the alter in the hand phase is getting towards its conclusion. There is a fist bump, and we are getting ready to go here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent Grand Finals. David Restivo against Zan Saeed with a spot at the Disney Lorcana World Championships up for grabs. And it looks like we're going to be starting off with Zan, who is deciding what is going to be inked. It is that Lilo Escape Artist. Looks like it's going down in the ink. Do we have a turn 1 play to accompany it?
Yeah, more than likely we do, Ross, with a lot of these decks playing 1 cost, and that is our 1 cost lady, Elegant Spaniel, coming into the game for Zan.
And we do see then over to David, both players on 42 points. Nothing to choose between them in terms of record. We get that Rhino 1/16th Wolf is going to go down into the inkwell. That is going to be ink that can be used for a turn 1 play. And it is your favorite spray cheese kid, Bommy Zamaruski.
Or maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is.
Maybe it is. My favorite spray cheese kid, David, really wanting to start building that Leaning Tower of Cheese. Going to be able to draw a card, and does he have perhaps a Lilo Escape Artist to discard? Or what is it David is going to discard?
Well, he did have no, he didn't. His opponent, Zan, had a Lilo. That's what got inked. He inked the Rhino. We can still see it there. That's the goal, is really discard that Lilo that can be played from the discard so easily and so often. But instead, we have a bunch of other options here. But not a deck that really gets stuff back from the discard here. So whatever goes down, well, unless it's a 2-cost character and you can get it back with Lady Miss Park Avenue, and it is that Grandmother, that Grandmother Willow, Ancient Advisor.
Yeah, very interesting here. David didn't choose to keep the Grandmother Willow, unless, of course, he has another one to be able to play next turn and allow him to be able to play a 1-drop for free. But looking like Zan is going to be inking that Mickey Mouse Amber champion and going to be playing a Lady Decisive Dog and a Rhino 1/16th Wolf.
Starting to build up that board quite nicely. 3 glimmers there. Passes the turn over to David here, who has just top decked that Della Moon's Lullaby, which does seem like that is going to be the choice to ink straight away. We're using both of the ink here, and it is a Grandmother Willow Ancient Advisor. And that means that there was a spare, and that means you can play a 1-cost character for free, and it's going to be that Lady Decisive Dog.
Yeah, David not too far behind here, even though going second next turn. If we do have that Tramp Enterprising Dog, a turn 3 Tramp for an Amber Emerald deck is pretty good, Ross, wouldn't you say?
I absolutely would say, and David might have been going second, but the fact that you've got the the Grandmother Willow on turn 2, that is going to help redress the balance really quite nicely here. He could have that turn 3 tramp, and I'm not sure that Zan is going to be able to pull off the same feat here.
No, unfortunately, Zan would have needed another Glimmer on the board or a Grandmother Willow of his own to be able to turn 3 tramp here. Instead, we may be able to see perhaps a Nani Stage Manager. We can ink a card here, get 3 ink, use 3 ink to play a Nani, maybe look for a card we're missing. Maybe it's the Grandmother Willow of his own. Or maybe we're just going to play 2 more Glimmers to the board to be able to, next turn, play our own Tramp Enterprising Dog.
And that is always something you want to be looking for. That Tramp Enterprising Dog, well, he's a little one, he's quite nice, but a Tramp Street Smart Dog, that's a good boy.
Even better.
Exactly. Comes in, reduced cost by 1 for every Glimmer you've got on the board, and also lets you draw a number of cards equal to the characters you've got in play, and then discard that many. It lets you fix your hand to get exactly what you're looking for. Big decision here for Zan. We see 1 ink being exerted. What's it being exerted for? It's, well, I've said it. I'm going to say it again. There we go. Your favorite spray cheese kid, Bobby Zimmerowski.
Yeah, meaning Zan is going to be able to draw a card and discard a card, and getting a Lilo Escape Artist into the discard is exactly what an Amber Emerald player wants to see.
It absolutely is. And that, you know, Zan did get that, but he didn't get the turn 2 Grandmother Willow. Now, does David have the Tramp Street Smart Dog? That is going to be the big question here. If you do, you can ink, and then it becomes a 4 cost, but it becomes a 3 cost with that Grandmother Willow, and it is exactly that. You draw 3 cards, you then get to discard 3 cards from your hand. You are not gaining any cards, but you are fixing your hand nicely. David went second, but oh, it kind of makes up for it when you get your turn 3 tramp now, doesn't it, Kim?
It definitely does, and David most likely looking for that Under the Sea, because in the mirror, that's kind of the card you're looking for right now. If David is able to find it and keep it in his hand, Zan's entire board right now is within range of being Under the Sea, which basically sends, if you're new to Lorcana and don't know what Under the Sea does, it sends each of the opposing Glimmers that it costs that has strength 2 or less, basically under the sea, but in this way, under the deck.
It is worth noting David plays 3 copies of Under the Sea to Zan's 4. That is going to make it a slightly more difficult to actually find, so that early trap might be the difference. But watch out for that. Under the Sea so big in the mirror, cutting that 4th copy could be a problem. Here comes Mowgli. You know Zan is fishing for that Under the Sea, and David goes, mate, I wish I had Under the Sea.
Yeah.
You know what he does have, though?
Another Tramp Street Smart Dog.
Yeah, which means he's going to be able to see at least 5 extra cards, 1 drawn for turn, 4 from the Tramp next turn to try and get it. So actually missing it with the Tramp this turn was actually the best way around. You're closer to finding it, but it can't be gotten rid of with Mowgli.
Yeah, and not only does David have that Tramp Street Smart Dog in his hand, there's also a Lady Miss Park Avenue. So Zan just taking a quick little look at what is in the discard, knowing, well, David is also going to have the option of shifting this Lady Miss Park Avenue on top of our Lady Decisive Dog and bringing back some of our character cards from our discard.
Well, we do see Zan here, and I think he's worried about Under the Sea. He inks the Street Smart Dog to play the Enterprising Dog, the lower cost tramp, because actually, that Street Smart Dog is still a 2-strength character. Under the Sea would target it. I think Zan is really worried, because remember, he knows that there is a tramp in hand for David. He knows there's going to be the draw for the turn, potentially playing a 1-cost character, and then drawing at least 4 cards with Tramp to search for Under the Sea. He does, however, know that David only plays 3 copies.
Yeah, it is open deck list. With both of these players knowing these decks inside out, I'm sure it's not the first time they've faced a mirror, but if David really wants to, we can play another Tramp Street Smart Dog. We are only going to pay 2 ink for it, meaning if we do find an Under the Sea, we still will be able to sing it with our other 7-cost Tramp and a 1-cost, maybe Bobby or a Lady that is still on the board, to be able to completely wipe out Zan's board under the deck.
I feel like thematically it needs to be Lady and Tramp joining in to sing Under the Sea. You know, Bobby Zamirsky and Tramp, they're not much of a duo, but Lady and the Tramp just rolls off your tongue there.
It does, but maybe the Spray Cheese Kid really wants to start, you know, drumming, making some jams with Sebastian. Why not?
He just wants to get joining in, and I don't blame him, frankly. Now here comes Ursula. Oh, and it is an Under the Sea that David is hit with Ursula. Zan goes, yes, fine, you got me. Zan missed it with the Mowgli. David hit it with the Ursula Deceiver here. Zan was desperately hoping he was going to get that next turn. I got bad news for you.
Yeah, not going to be able to sing that next turn. And Zan had enough glimmers on his board to be able to sing together that Under the Sea, which would have been brilliant for him. But unfortunately, that Ursula Deceiver, which we did get to see what was in the hand, but it was kind of too late because we needed to establish that Mowgli on board to be able to discard the Under the Sea if it was there. But now David going to be able to play that Ursula Deceiver and the Daisy Duck, and also a Tramp Street Smart Dog as well, hopefully looking to get our own Under the Sea and really take the lead in this game.
He's just drawn 6 cards with Tramp. He drew 1 for the turn, 6 with Tramp. He drew, I believe it was 3 with Tramp last turn. So he's been digging through his deck quite nicely. Zan looks at the discard and goes, well, he hasn't discarded an Under the Sea. That doesn't tell me very much. We are... Oh, no, we're questing with Tramp. So Zan, a sigh of relief there. There is no Under the Sea. You know if it was there, it would be played. So it cannot be there. I didn't think I saw it in the hand.
No, it's not in the hand, but perhaps another thing it could be is that pesky Emerald Chromacon. And this is where Zan really wants to have another Mowgli man cub, but to be able to deal with this Emerald Chromacon, because if it comes out onto the board, there's not much Zan is going to be able to do to get rid of it.
We've gone wide on the board so far. Very, very little questing here. We've just got a lot of glimmers out, a lot of characters down. And then the question is, what do we have? Zan actually passes straight back over to the V, choosing not to do any questing here.
Did we draw an uninkable card? Maybe it's a Lady, Miss Park Avenue. Are we only on 2 ink? We can't even shift it.
It's another Tramp, Kim, and that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Surely you've got to hit it now. You had a Tramp for... Yes, we saw it. It is in the hand. And
meaning we are going to be able to sing it now because we have 2 other Tramps on the board. Will we see the Lady and the Tramp sing together and Under the Sea?
It is Daisy, and Zan knew that was coming. It is it is Tramp and Daisy Duck. All of those characters under the deck. And that is good. No, is that game 1? It looks like Zan has conceded, and David Restivo is going to take a 1-0 lead. Under the Sea is all that was needed.
Yeah, we did. It didn't seem like we got very far in lore there before, and it seems like another game that we got to cast earlier where we only got up to 4 lore. I believe we only got 2 lore on the board there.
I think it might have been a 2-0 victory, but I don't mean in games. I mean in lore in that one game from David. But do remember, we're not playing a best of 3 like we have been all weekend here. We are all the way up to a best of 5. And while we've got a second, I'm hearing cheering. It is local time. It's 10:30 in the evening. Shout out to everyone still in the hall watching this. I love that you are choosing to spend your evening in the hall with us. You guys are awesome.
We have an immaculate viewing area out there, and I did get to watch a bit of the last game out there with them, and the vibes are outstanding. It's been a long 3 days in this hall in Flanders Expo in the Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent, and I'm so excited because not only do we get to bring you a best of 3, we get to bring you a best of 5. And Zan was on the play last time, I believe. Will still be on the play this time. But like I said earlier, both these players know these decks inside out. And oftentimes in a Dog's Mirror and an Amber Emerald Mirror, it's normally the person who gets the Under the Sea first. And unfortunately for Zan, David was just able to get advantage there and get his tramp out first to be able to find his under the sea. Unfortunately, it wasn't the first tramp, it wasn't the second tramp, but it actually took 3 tramps.
And by the third tramp, he's drawing 8 cards, which is absolutely absurd. I believe it was 4 with the first tramp, 6 with the second, 8 with the third, which is 18 cards in total, not counting your draw for the turn, but eventually did get down to get one. But under the sea, you're absolutely right, Kim, but the big decider in that game was that turn 2 Grandmother Willow from David. That was absolutely crucial. That led to the turn 3 tramp, which led to the tramp train, which it took 3 of them, but eventually we got to that under the sea. And even if Zan had under the sea, he would have had to top deck it, because David actually did have that Ursula Deceiver at the perfect time. Right before it could have been sung, Ursula came down to stop it.
Yeah, definitely would have made a world of difference to Zan in the first game had David not have that Ursula Deceiver exactly when they needed it, because Zan would have been able to sing together the Under the Sea first and started gaining momentum, more board control, be able to quest up. And will we see anything differently happen here in game 2?
Well, I am spying a Grandmother Willow in David's hand, so it does feel a lot like that's probably something you'd keep in the altering hand phase.
Yeah, normally if you get it, ideally you want to keep it. If you get more than 2, well, the options there are pretty much endless. You'll be able to play 1 for 1 then the following turn if you really wish, meaning you'll play 2 next turn for the following Glimmer you want to play to the board.
That can absolutely snowball into something quite lovely. Now, it is worth noting that the player going first is supposed to be altering their hand first. So right now, it is Zan Saeed's turn to alter his hand, choose how many of that opening hand go back into the deck to be replaced and how many get kept. When he's finished, it will be David Restivo's turn to actually go ahead and do his. And at this high level, you absolutely should let your opponent finish before you start. Take that information.
Yeah, and ideally the perfect opener for an Amber Emerald deck in the mirror to be able to keep your Tramp Street Smart Dog in the opening hand, get your 1-drop to the board, get your Grandmother Willow onto the board, and I do believe Zan was able to draw into the Grandmother Willow there, meaning we could quite possibly see a turn 3 Tramp this time from Zan Saeed.
And it's important to note, he actually altered his hand by 6. He only kept 1 card from his opening hand, and the 6th card he drew was the Grandmother Willow. Now, obviously, if he'd taken 5, he would have top-decked it turn 1. But the point is, going that aggressive on the altering hand phase is what allowed him to then get towards that Grandmother Willow, because it made such a difference for David. And here's what's brilliant for David here. After you win game 1, essentially, if you just go back and forth, you're on the play in game 5.
Yes, essentially you are, even though Zan started off game 1 on the play. Didn't start out the greatest for him, but can he take it back to get himself a win? Will we see it go all the way to game 5? But Zan here going first.
Well, we've had the fist bump, so we will be rolling here. Game 2, Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent Grand Final. And Zan is going to be inking that Rhino 1/16 Wolf for your favorite spray cheese kid, Bobby Zimmerowski.
Yeah, this time round, Zan's going to start building that Leaning Tower of Cheesa. And I do believe I also see the Grandmother Willow in David's hand as well.
Yes, he had it in his opening hand, pre-altering. You got to imagine he's going to keep it. And actually, Zan discarding a Grandmother Willow off of the Bobby Zimmerowski draw, so you know he's got one in hand. There's no way you discard your only one.
No, you've got to be thinking, if they're discarding this, they definitely have to be having another. And being an uninkable card, you kind of want to, yeah, okay, we're going to get rid of this. It's going to stay in the way. It's going to be annoying. But David now, what is he going to ink? Is it going to be a Nani Stage Manager, seeming like there's 2 in hand? But no, it's going to be none other than Lilo, Escape Artist, going into the inkwell, and a Lady Elegant Spaniel coming onto the board for David.
The one that gets 1 extra law when they quest if you got a tramp in play. It is Grandmother Willow coming down as that turn 2 play, and it's very crucial to get a 1-drop card immediately after. It is a second Bobby Zimmerowski, but importantly, there's now 3 characters down, 1 of which is a Grandmother Willow, which means tramp next turn will be a free cost, and you will have free ink to play it. That is, of course, if you've got the tramp. We talk about having the Grandmother Willow, but you better have the tramp in hand as well.
Yeah, you kind of need to have all the key pieces here in order to be able to play all the parts of the jigsaw puzzle. And if Zan is able to have the tramp in hand and we can just play it next turn, can he find that under the sea to be able to sing the following turn and gain the board control before David can get his own tramp on the board and find under the sea himself?
Well, it is a Grandmother Willow coming down for David, but no one drop following it, which means you don't get the tramp next turn. It's not just about having the Grandmother Willow, it's also about having the one drop. Then it's about having the tramp the following turn. Then it's about having the Under the Sea the following turn. And you do need, and I call these pinch points, you have to have a combo at every turn or it will fall apart. David had it in game 1, does not have it in game 2. Free ink are being exerted, and it is that tramp street smart dog. And now we are desperately searching for Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Or are we? Because if you draw it now, maybe Ursula can grab it.
Yeah, maybe Ursula can grab it, or maybe you take the risk and keeping another Tramp Street Smart Dog. We saw it happen in the previous game to Zan's opponent. Will we see a little bit of deja vu, and will Zan try to do it back to David and get about 3 tramps back on the board and then sing Under the Sea?
That would be the dream. I mean, ideally, you get it nice and early. But if I'm David here, it is nice and simple. I have got to play an Ursula Deceiver this turn. No, it's not your general curve. Doesn't matter. You need to play Ursula Deceiver right now, because if your opponent has Under the Sea, anything else you play is going to go terribly wrong. Bobby Zamoruski will be questing here just for 1 lore. I think I ordered 1 lore, yeah. No, 2 lore, because there's 2 of them. And then we're back over to David. Do you have the Ursula Deceiver?
I don't see an Ursula Deceiver, but I do see that Emerald Chromacon in hand. But first, we will be able to play another Grandmother Willow, this time only paying 1 ink for it. And we will be able to only pay 2 then, thanks to our second Grandmother Willow, for our Nani Stage Manager being able to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put a 1 or 2 cost card from those 4 cards into your hand. And well, of course, you do have to reveal it to your opponent, so Zan knows what card is going into his hand, and that is going to be none other than the 2-cost tramp.
Yeah, the enterprising dog. Now, if I'm David here, I'm tempted to keep Emerald Chromacon in my hand. So that way, if a Mowgli gets played, you can choose to discard that and protect your Under the Sea. Zan doesn't get a choice. Zan's playing Mowgli. David is playing Ursula. Ursula can guarantee getting Under the Sea. Mowgli cannot. We play the Lady Elegant Spaniel. We are seeing a tramp and 1 other card get exerted. It is Under the Sea from Zan Saeed. And Nani Stage Manager will stay, but both the Grandmother Willow will be gone. The Lady Elegant Spaniel will be gone under the deck, and that means that Zan is taking a big lead here in game 2.
Yeah, looking like we did manage to find that Under the Sea off our Tramp Enterprising Dog. Zan here currently taking the lead now in board state, going to be able to freely quest, well, not freely quest. This Nani Stage Manager does pose a little bit of a threat, can deal easily with one of our Bobby Zamoruskis by challenging into it. But does David really want to do that? Because then we can just challenge right back with our Tramp Street Smart Dog and easily deal with this Nani Stage Manager left on our board.
Right now, the deal with David is rebuild your board. Nani Stage Manager is going to help. You've basically got a turn or 2 to rebuild your board before things get out of control. If you can rebuild your board and hit Zan with your own Under the Sea, you can still get there. Did we whiff off Nani?
Yeah, it's looking like we drew into a Tramp Street Smart Dog, a Lady Miss Park Avenue. I believe the other card may have been an Under the Sea. I'm not quite sure, but the other card was Mickey Mouse Amber Champion. Not looking like David had a 1-drop at all there in the hand. Was hoping to find one off Nani Stage Manager. We did ink a card. We could have possibly played one, but unfortunately, not going to help David here. And it is a Mowgli Man Club coming in, exactly what Zan wants to see against that pesky Emerald Chromacon, because if it came onto the board then next turn, there was no item removal in Zan's deck he was going to be able to use to get rid of it, and we're going to be able to full quest with all of the other glimmers on the board. Zan really starting to take the lead in this game.
Well, that is questing for 6, going from 3 up to 9 for Zan Saeed. Was defeated in game 1, but all the way up to 10, it seems, and is coming back in game 2. And this is going to be out of hand pretty quickly. These dog mirror matches do not always go terribly long, but it does not look right now like we're going to have a sweep. Or does it, David? What have you got in these last couple of turns before it's out of control?
Yeah, it doesn't always get out of control very much, but when it does, this is kind of what happens. And right now, does Zan Saeed have game on board, or is there anything David can do against it? These two Nannies can easily challenge and deal with some of these glimmers on Zan's board, but David not having a 1-drop to be able to do more, it's looking like perhaps it's going to be Zan's game, but David taking a quick little look at the discard to see what cards have kind of gone through. We know there's a one Under the Sea already gone through. Under the Sea is not going to do anything against these Nani stage managers, and David can easily challenge in here to deal with some of Zan's glimmers on his board. But are we going to play anything? Yes, it's going to be the third Nani stage manager coming on. We're going to have a look at the top 4 cards, and is it going to be a 1 or 2 cost glimmer to be able to be put into our hand?
There were a couple of options. There was an Ursula Deceiver, but it's a little bit too late for that. So we go and get a Lilo Escape Artist into hand off of that Nani stage manager. Bobby Zamaruski comes down. This is not enough right now. 3 Nani stage manager and a Bobby Zamaruski. You're not putting any pressure on your opponent's board. You actually do have enough to sing Under the Sea next turn, weirdly, if Zan plays absolutely no board control. You could go Under the Sea if you keep all 3 of your Nani.
Yeah, and there's not quite yet enough lore on the board for Zan. He will be able to freely quest here up to a total of 18, I believe. If we can just establish another 2 quests here on the board, could it be a Lady Miss Park Avenue or even another tramp? Next turn, Zan will be able to have game unless David has an Under the Sea of his own. Or maybe Zan has another Ursula Deceiver or even a Mowgli Man Cub to be able to be played to get rid of any possibility of an Under the Sea coming out from David, because this would really help him get back in the game here.
Well, right now we are questing 8 from 10 up to 18. And if you're Zan, you can play something to quest for 2, but has more than 2 strength, something like a Lady Miss Park Avenue. Absolutely. Or like you say, play a Mowgli Man Cub to try and hit the Under the Sea if it is in David's hand, because he does have enough on the board here. There is still a chance that Under the Sea from David could lead to a big comeback, but it has to be right now. I don't see any other way this is going to end other than David going Under the Sea or conceding this turn. We are paying 2 ink initially, and we are getting that Lilo back. That is not going to do anything this turn.
No, but perhaps David already has that Under the Sea in hand, and thanks to our Nani stage managers on the board that cost 3, between all 3 of them can easily sing together and Under the Sea if David has them in hand. Or maybe we're going to do some challenging if we don't have it, but we will have to deal with an awful lot of glimmers on Zan's side of the board first.
You have to get rid of both of the Tramp and 3 of the Mowgli / Bobby Zamaruski. You can only leave 1 of either Mowgli or Bobby Zamaruski on the board. That is all the option you've got. Here comes a Tramp. You are going to be drawing 5 cards. You need to hit an Under the Sea here so you can sing it with your 3 Nani. You don't hit it, and that is the game. Zan Saeed is going to even this up 1 game apiece in our best of 5 final.
Yeah, playing that Tramp Street Smart Dog for one final shot at being able to find the Under the Sea. Unfortunately, that game going Zan's side in this dog versus dog match. It seems to be who can get their Tramp down first and sing Under the Sea first, like I said earlier. And this time, for the first time, Zan is going to be going into game 3 on the draw. But no need to fear, guys. It's best of 5. So we've at least got another 2 rounds to go.
Absolute minimum. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and that is very literal here in the final of DLC Ghent. Here's what's worrying me. The 3 copies of Under the Sea for David. He took a lot of effort in Game 1 to go and find it with those free tramp. Didn't find it in Game 2. And, you know, it seems at this point like we're pretty clear what we need to do. You need any 1-drop on turn 1. You need a Grandmother Willow and a 1-drop on turn 2. You need your Tramp on turn 3 and you're Under the Sea on turn 4. So what you need to do is you need to have 4 copies of Tramp Street Smart Dog, 4 copies of Grandmother Willow Ancient Advisor, you need a whole heap of 1-drops, and you need 4 copies of Under the Sea. Cutting from 4 down to 3, and I did speak to David briefly before this match, and he told me he's played against a bunch of mirror matches for dogs this weekend, and he has been, his loss and tie were not to dogs. He's beaten all the dogs he's played this weekend, but I would, if I was him right now, I would be wishing I had a 4th copy of Under the Sea.
Well, I can also imagine so, but I do think maybe Zan is playing those 4 Under the Sea, I believe.
He is.
And he's probably feeling a lot better knowing that his opponent is only on 3 Under the Seas.
And that's something you need to be looking out for here is Mowgli and Ursula. Because if you put them side by side and you think, well, the main goal of these in this matchup is get rid of my opponents Under the Sea, Ursula is just better than Mowgli. Ursula, if they've got Under the Sea, you get rid of it. Mowgli, you make your opponent make the choice to any of their non-character cards. And a lot of the time, it's just going to be Under the Sea, but you can catch your opponent, you know, if David's got, say, an Emerald Chromacon and an Under the Sea, they can drop the Chromacon to keep the Under the Sea. That is a big difference between those 2 cards. So I love that David's got the Ursula rather than the Mowgli, but I really don't like the fact that they are only playing 3 copies of Under the Sea rather than 4.
Yeah, but there's some times when players really want to have both the Mowgli and the Ursula. For example, we saw last game, Ross, Zan was able to play the Mowgli Man Cub and discard that Emerald Chromacon out of David's hand. That really helped him keep in control of that game, because something else might have changed had we seen the Emerald Chromacon come into the board for David, because then we might have seen our nannies challenge that turn. Zan might have challenged back, and then David would have had the opportunity to bounce any of the glimmers on the board back to their player's hand.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent point. Very well made there, Kim, and I agree with you entirely. Sometimes Mowgli absolutely can be the better option between the 2. So we're in the altering hand phase now. Both players, I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew the mirror match for dogs coming in, but now they've had 2 games. They're getting to know their opponent's list a lot more intimately. They're having some practice playing this, and now they can really start to put together that game plan, and they can know exactly what they want their opening hand to be. And we know here Zan will be going second on the draw, and it is going to be David going first on the play because he was defeated in Game 2.
Yeah, and we didn't see Zan on the draw yet. We've seen David on the draw twice, was able to take that victory Game 1 against Zan, and this time we'll be going on the play, and ideally, hopefully, we're going to see the same thing that happened previously. We're going to play our 1-drop into our Grandmother Willow, into another 1-drop, and then hopefully into our Tramp Street Smart Dog.
Wow, we just saw the fist bump. We are rolling here in Game 3 of our Disney Lorcana Challenge Grand Final here in Ghent. Delamue's Lullaby gets inked. Daisy Duck Donald's Date, which I think might be the first time we've seen that this early in this matchup. David played it previously just to get more with Tramp. We see Delamue's Lullaby inked for Zan, but it's no Daisy Duck. It's your favorite spray cheese kid.
Yeah, there's not going to be many big prizes, I can imagine, for David if he starts questing so early on with this Daisy Duck's Donald's Date. There's an odd chance we may be able to hit an Under the Sea out of Zan's Saeed's deck. However, more times out of 10, we are going to be able to give Zan an additional card. So the chances are we aren't going to quest with this Daisy Duck yet. But we are going to see that Grandmother Willow come into the board, and not looking like David has a 1-drop to be able to play. So chances are we're not going to see a Tramp Street Smart Dog come in to play turn 3.
Unfortunately not. Good news is, however, for David, that Zan has whiffed the turn 2 Grandmother Willow. Ancient Advisor has gone for a second Bobby Zimmerowski, so neither player having that perfect curve hit in game 3. David got the Grandmother Willow, but whiffed the 1-drop after it. Zan has not even got the Grandmother Willow, so we do have a card we can ink, and then hopefully another 1-drop and just build your board that way instead. Is it as good? No, it's not as good. But we do what we can with what we have.
Yeah, it's not as good as our new addition to this set, Winter Spell, Grandmother Willow. But we're going back to the old reliables, the way Dogs was played before we got the new addition of Grandmother Willow. And I do believe there is definitely a 1-drop still in Zan's hand. But first, we must discard a card off our Bobby Zimmerowski. And that's going to be another Bobby Zimmerowski. And we are going to now see Della's Moon's Lullaby inked per turn, and we are going to play Our Lady Decisive Dog.
So we at least get the free 1-drops in the first 2 turns for Zan Saeed. That is not too bad. David here has got 2 cards on the board. We cannot stretch to get the Tramp Street Smart Dog, but hopefully we can pay a little bit of ink here. We can ink something, and then we can start rolling, and it is that Nani Stage Manager, played as a 2-cost, of course, because of that Grandmother Willow.
Yeah, don't even need to ink anything. Only had to play 2 ink for this Nani Stage Manager, meaning if we manage to draw a 1-drop, which we did this Daisy Duck Donald's Date, we will be able to ink a card and play our Daisy Duck to the board.
And then next turn, Tramp Street Smart Dog is potentially on the board, but then it means you're 2 turns away from your Under the Sea. Not really where we want to be. Back over to Zan here, draws for the turn. And here, I mean, Grandmother Willow would be great, but do we have maybe a Nani Sage Manager of our own? Where can we go with this?
Yeah, decisions indeed. Maybe we're going to have an Ursula Deceiver or even a Mowgli Man Cub like we were speaking before, just to be able to get a little bit more information about David's hand, because every little helps, every little information helps, we're about to find out. It does look like 3 ink is going to be exerted. It is going to be Finnick, Little Terror coming in, and we are going to be bouncing that Grandmother Willow back to David's hand.
Yeah, not too shabby. This is one of the unusual cards that Zan Saeed plays that we don't generally see in a lot of decks. But when you play it, you can bounce a 2 strength or lower character back to the hand, and Grandmother Willow absolutely counts there.
Yeah, he's not a tiny terror for Zan, but it might be a tiny terror for David, now having to pay 2 to replay our Grandmother Willow onto the board. Only 3 glimmers on the board, meaning we did have to replay that Grandmother Willow. Unfortunately, not going to see Tramp Street Smart Dog this turn, but we are going to be able to play Go-Go Tamago for 1 ink.
Yeah, Go-Go Tamago, Darting Dynamo comes down. And look, we got 5 characters down now. That's a pretty decent board. It's making things easier for Tramp. Right now, Zan is not... Wait, no, Zan could get Tramp this turn, which would then put him potentially in the driver's seat for getting that Under the Sea roll in. He's got Lady, he's got Bobby Zimmerowski, he's got Finnick, and he's got a second Bobby Zimmerowski. So both players here, they're just playing out the glimmers they've got in their hand, but we're not seeing that big combo coming out. First one to do it is going to be there. Now, I'm having a quick look. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, David does have enough to play Under the Sea next turn.
Yes, he does, but the question is, does Zan have a Tramp Street Smart Dog of his own to be able to play now this turn? We do have 4 glimmers on the board, meaning we will only have to pay 3, and we will be able to draw 4 cards. We will have to discard 4 cards, but I think he's trying to do the maths. It's a lot of thinking, decisions. It's difficult to know the correct one to make, but these players know these decks inside out, looking like we are going to be exerting 3 ink for another Finnick, looking like we are going to bounce the Grandmother Willow back to David's hand.
Now, it is worth noting that that now takes the potential the Under the Sea off the board. There's only 7 cost worth of characters there. So there's no Under the Sea coming down from David here. So that was a big play from Zan Saeed. Both of those Finnick coming in absolutely huge. And yes, that is a pun on the artwork. And taking those characters off the board, making life just generally easier for him and a lot more difficult for David.
Yeah, but still 2 Daisy Ducks and a Nani along with a Go-Go Tamago on the board for David. Are we going to see a Grandmother Willow replayed? And yes, we are. But does David have another card to perhaps be able to play alongside this? And it is going to be a Daisy Duck Donald's Date being played for free.
Played for free, and I don't think there's 8 cost worth of characters on Zan's board. I believe we're only up to 6 or 7 there. So, yeah, we got 4 1 cost and a 2 cost, I believe. So, I know, I think it's just 5 1 cost, is it not?
Yeah, it is just going to be 5 1 cost on the board for Zan. Not yet quite enough to sing and Under the Sea of his own, but there it is. There is our Tramp Street Smart Dog coming in, and those 5 glimmers on the board for Zan means Zan is going to be able to draw 5 cards and then discard 5 cards, maybe looking for the all-important Under the Sea for next turn.
And that is going to be where Zan is going, because he is in the driver's seat if he can pull this off. However, his board is very much at risk of Under the Sea, and now we do actually have enough on David's side of the board. He would need to have it in hand. He's not... Oh, wait, no, he could play Tramp to search for it, actually. So, potentially a Tramp could come down. It would only be a 1-cost Tramp next turn, maybe 0 if you play a 1-cost character beforehand. And then you can start working towards that. So, game 1 and 2 were quite straightforward. One player had a big advantage. In game 3... we're kind of, both players like poking at each other yet, but no one's taken the first big swing.
No lore on the board yet, and we are going to be discarding 5 cards from Zan Saeed. And like you said, Ross, if we do see another Tramp Street Smart Dog now, Zan will only have to pay 1 ink for it, but Zan is playing 4 Under the Seas in his deck compared to David's only 3 Under the Seas. So he is more likely to hit an Under the Sea off the first Tramp than we saw David had to go through 3 Tramps the first game before he would manage to get himself an Under the Sea. So we could see Zan perhaps if he did not get the Under the Sea, but it seems like maybe we did. We're not doing anything else. We're not paying another 1 cost. Maybe we're just waiting. We're holding. We're not going to quest yet. We're waiting for the all-important, perhaps, the Under the Sea next turn.
What I would love to see here is either a Tramp, or, well, yeah, let's just go Tramp. Let's just go Tramp, right?
Yeah.
It's a 1 cost, and it's going to draw you 6 cards, and then discard 6. Do we see Under the Sea? I would also, if we don't see that, Ursula Deceiver is not a great consolation prize, but it is still a consolation prize. What did he just... He just showed the Under the Sea.
The Under the Sea, and we'll be able to take this Under the Sea. We'll have to discard 6 cards in return, but we'll be able to sing it with all of the other glimmers left on his board.
And I think Zan is actually saying, show me Under the Sea, and I'm going to concede this game, and he does. David Restivo takes game 2, 1 game away from being our Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent champion and gaining that access to the World Championships later in the season. We generally don't see players showing cards like that when you search for Tramp, but that was clearly, I played enough card games to know, that was Zan going, mate, show me Under the Sea. If you show me Under the Sea, I'm not going to want to keep playing this game. He showed Under the Sea, Zan conceded, and David is 1 game away.
Yeah, David winning that game, by the way. I don't believe any lure was made on the board at all. It's really going like what I said earlier is definitely true. And both these players, very experienced in these decks, know when you're playing the mirror, first person to play Under the Sea is essentially going to win the game. And this person for this game was going to be David, meaning we've already played 3 games. We're going to a 4th game.
The flowchart looks something like this. Did you play Under the Sea? Yes. Did your opponent refill the board? If no, you win. If yes, do you have a second Under the Sea? If yes, you win. If no, do they have Under the Sea? And it kind of cascades down from there. But it is all, we've seen 3 games here now, Kim. It is all about Under the Sea in this mirror match. That is the goal. If you get, though we did see it on stream yesterday, player got Under the Sea, but managed to rebuild their board, throw it Under the Sea at their opponent and actually fill out the game. We haven't seen it here, but that is an option. If you have got a good enough hand that Under the Sea wrecks your board and then you rebuild it and Under the Sea your opponent, that is the game. But so far, in game 1, Under the Sea ended it. Game 2, Under the Sea ended it. Game 3, Under the Sea ended it. That is what we're seeing in these games so far.
Yeah, for sure. And both these players have, after playing through the entire Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent, know these decks inside out. I'm sure they put in a lot of preparation as we go into our Game 4, best of 5, grand final. We are so close to finding which one of these Illumineers, who is going to be our champion of Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent. And Ross, you've got to be feeling happy. It's your pick to take it and win it all. And either way, no matter who wins, your woof woof has kind of won.
I am right. No matter what happens, I am right. Now, Zan is going to be going first, so he is altering his hand first. David, this has got to be a little bit heartbreaking. I believe he had an Under the Sea in his opening hand, and I believe it has been returned to the deck. And if anyone at home is thinking, why would you do that? Mate, it's an 8-cost uninkable. You really want Under the Sea, but there's 2 reasons you do not want it in your opening hand. Well, 3 reasons. Number 1, you can't play it yet. Number 2, you can't ink it. Number 3, your opponent is playing a card that can get it out of your hand, and you don't want that to happen. So you're looking for Grandmother Willow, you're looking for those 1-drops, you are absolutely not looking for Under the Sea. That is actually a bad card to have in your opening hand.
Yeah, and it's exactly the reason we're seeing turn 1 Bobby Zimmerowski discarding an early Grandmother Willow. When you've got 2 of them in your hand can get a little bit clunky. You don't want to have an awful lot of uninkables in the hand. However, for Zan, it seems like the Under the Sea is in his opening hand.
Well, we are here going with Game 4 of Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent. The first time we've had match point. If David wins this, he will be your champion. If Zan wins, we're going to a Game 5. We see Lady Elegant Spaniel being played by Zan, and it is your favorite Spray Cheese Kid. The turn 1 play with an inked Lady Decisive Dog and an Emerald Chromacon getting discarded here.
Yeah, Zan's got to feel pretty happy about that. I'm not sure how many Emerald Chromacon David is running, but I believe it may only be 2.
I believe it is 2. I'm not 100%, I'll have to have a look in a second, but I believe it is 2 in the deck.
Yeah, I just had a little look at his deck list there, and he is only running 2, so the possibility of an Emerald Chromacon getting on the board now for David is, well, there's only 1 left in the deck, so the chances are very slim.
I don't like his chances, frankly. I do like Grandmother Willow coming down with a second Lady Elegant Spaniel for Zan Saeed. That means he does actually have the perfect curve rolling right now. David gets a Grandmother Willow and he gets a Lady Elegant Spaniel. So now it is a 2-part race. Can you find Tramp? Can you find Under the Sea? Zan, you went first. You are matching your opponent. You have the first opportunity to try and hit that combo.
Do you have your Tramp Street Smart Dog? And why aren't you slapping it down to the table?
Oh, no.
No, it's not going to be Tramp Street Smart Dog. It's going to be
my
Lady
goodness.
Miss Park Avenue coming in. We can shift it for 3. We don't even need our Tramp Street Smart Dog. We had that Under the Sea in our opening hand. We didn't need to search for it. Having our Lady Miss Park Avenue means we can shift for 3 a 5-cost Glimmer, meaning between our 5-cost Lady Miss Park Avenue, our Grandmother Willow, and our Lady Elegant Spaniel, they can all sing together that Under the Sea, helping Zan gain that early board control.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Kim. I did not see that coming, but I'm willing to bet that's not the first time Zan has pulled that move off in this tournament. It is not what we're used to seeing with Under the Sea, but David absolutely on the ropes now. We have a Nani stage manager being played, and that is going to let you look for another 2-cost card. But look at the body language of David here. He knows that that was a brutal blow that's just been struck by Zan Saeed here. Now, we do see an Ursula Deceiver being grabbed, but that would have been really great last turn to get rid of Under the Sea.
Yeah, but unfortunately for David, we did play that Grandmother Willow and a 1-drop and Lady Elegant Spaniel of her own, which were unfortunately sent under the deck. And that Ursula Deceiver, not going to be much use to us now. We just played this Nani stage manager. We've no other ink available to be able to also play an Ursula to stop another Under the Sea. But right now, this Nani has 3 strength, she's not going to be able to be targeted by an Under the Sea.
I mean, that is the one saving grace. Now, at least you're going to have something left if it comes down to it, but that is really not the position you want to be in, where you can go, well, at least I'm protected from an Under the Sea because I've only got one character with 3 strength. This is what we said about with the flowchart at the beginning of this game, Kim. You need to rebuild your board and hope a second Under the Sea doesn't come down. Because that's the thing, if you just rebuild your board, you know what Zan is going to try and do to you.
Yeah, and most of the time when you're playing Lady Miss Park Avenue onto the board, you're normally hoping to bring back a 1 or 2 cost, up to 2 1 or 2 cost Glimmer characters back to your hand. But in this instant, she's also great for just singing Under the Sea.
Yeah, it works really quite nicely, and because you had the 2-cost Grandmother Willow with the other 1 cost, it meant you had exactly 8 and Under the Sea work. Now there's another ink here. Oh, and it's an Emerald Chromacon adding insult to injury as Ansaid here going, now I'm even better protected. Things are going from bad to worse for David, but remember, if we have a game 5, they will be going first. That is what they got for winning the first game.
Yeah, and it would have been nice for David there to have a Mowgli.
There we go.
I'm so sorry, folks. A Mowgli man club of his own to be able to get rid of that Emerald Chromacon from Zan's hand, but not playing any in his deck, only playing the 4 Ursula Deceivers, and that's when you have to. You know, you give, you take. You're playing your Ursulas. You can get rid of those Under the Seas, but there's nothing and no item removal right now unless he's playing a sneaky or welcome, but I didn't see any of that in the deck list. So there's nothing right now he's going to be able to do against this pesky Emerald Chromacon. Nani can challenge in here, easily get rid of this Grandmother Willow, or Lady Elegant Spaniel, but then Zan has the opportunity to bounce any one of these Glimmers back to their player's hand.
Well, I just had a look at the deck list. There is no item removal, and you don't need to thank me. You're welcome.
Oh, what can I say except thank you for that. You're welcome.
We are having a look at David's side of the board here, and it is not looking like we want it to look. The 2 Nani Stage Manager alone are not going to be enough to finish out this game. And even at this stage, there is an opportunity to potentially challenge through and go, look, I've got 3 frees on the board. I can use these to start taking out some of the Glimmers on your side of the board. But it's so much less fun when there's an Emerald Chromacon. The Under the Sea surprise dropped without a trap turn free was big. But honestly, the idea that you could also drop the Emerald Chromacon straight afterwards might be backbreaking. We do see the Lady Decisive Dog coming down here, but it's not really putting much pressure on. No lore for David. Zan sitting on 4, but could be starting to run away with this game as it stands.
Yeah, didn't have many 1-drops previously to be able to be played with these Nani Stage Managers coming in clutch, but we're going to see an Ursula Deceiver of Zan's own just to have a little look at David's hand. Unfortunately, no Under the Seas in the hand to be able to be discarded essentially, but every information matters, every little piece of information, and just being able to know what cards are in David's hand to be able to be played. Maybe Zan is going to keep an Under the Sea in his hand, knowing if David plays these Glimmers onto the board, well, they're all within range of being Under the Sea.
Well, here we come with that Lilo Escape Artist. That's going to quest for 2 next turn. And, of course, we've been talking this game about the fact that Zan is choosing the Mowgli Man Club and David is instead going for Ursula Deceiver. It is a one of the Ursula Deceiver in Zan's deck. So he is very much going down the Mowgli Man Club route, but there is just one little extra Ursula Deceiver there as a fun little bonus.
Yeah, because why not when you don't get to have your Mowgli Man Club, or maybe sometimes you play your Mowgli first, or you play your Ursula first to discard the card, have a look at the hand, and then you kind of want to play your Mowgli and get rid of any items remaining and making your opponent discard them. But right now, looking like Zan's going to go on a quest, bringing us up to 6 lore.
And we might finally see a traditional game where one of the players actually quests up to 20 lore. We are 52 minutes in here. We are deep into game 4, but remember the timer at the top It's for purely informational purposes. We are playing untimed. That timer has no impact on the game that we are playing. We see Lilo, escape artist played by David, clearly had a look at what Zan was doing and went, you know what, that's a good plan. I'm going to do that too. And now we are eyeing up a Daisy Duck Donald's date.
Yeah, and really important here to note, Ross, Zan didn't quest with the Lady Miss Park Avenue or the Ursula, meaning next turn he does have the ability, if he has it, to sing together another Under the Sea.
He absolutely does, protecting those characters. It won't get the Nani, but it will get the Lady, it will get the Lilo, it will get the Daisy Duck. And how many times this weekend have we seen these Amber players just going, I'm going to play Lilo Escape Artist every single turn? Well, you know what? You can kind of get around that by putting it under the deck.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to get rid of it. We see in Sapphire decks, they're able to send it into the Inkwell, but one way for Emerald decks to get rid of that pesky Lilo escape artist escaping back from the discard onto the board is by singing an Under the Sea and sending it to the bottom of the deck.
Absolutely it is. We're eyeing up a Tramp here. It is a street smart dog. It is the bigger one. The one that draws a whole bunch of cards, the one that can be devastating for your opponent. We have 6 characters in play, so that's 6 cards drawn and then 6 discarded. Did he have any cards in hand? No, so it actually is just discarding 6 cards to the top of your deck.
Yeah, we're just going to play our Tramp Street Smart Dog, and then we're going to be able to quest with all of our other remaining glimmers, leaving our Lady Miss Park Avenue not exerted. But we are free to quest with everything else, and maybe Zan's debating here, will I quest with this Lady Miss Park Avenue? Because right now, if David is not able to get rid of his board, he's going to win the game.
And I'm looking at this right now, and Zan is getting very, very close to winning this. Essentially, you're 8 away now, and you do have 8 on the board. You've actually got 10. But you could potentially get a couple more lore here. And then, you know, if your opponent can take out some characters, they can take out some characters. I like this. You go up to 14. Because if your opponent can challenge and take some out, they can challenge and take some out. You might as well get closer to winning the game. You're 6 lore away here. We might actually see someone get to 20 lore in this game.
And this might be the first game out of our best-of-5 finals. We're going to actually see one of our players get up to that all-important 20 lore total.
The actual win condition of the game might actually be met at the 4th time of asking. David very much on the ropes here. We're using 1 ink, and we are paying that. I believe that is the Tramp Enterprising Dog. We are using Daisy Duck to challenge in and banish. We're going to trade with the Lady. Worth remembering that Tramp Enterprising Dog would have given a 5 strength boost to Daisy Duck because there's 5 other characters on the board, making it a temporary 6-4. But then Emerald Chromicon comes in, and that's going to bounce the Glimmer back to David's hand.
Yeah, Zan this time choosing Lady Decisive Dog to bounce back to David's hand. It does have the choice to replay it, but we still have 3 ink available, it seems. Can choose to just replay it, or maybe we have another Nani Stage Manager perhaps, or maybe another card we don't know about.
I mean, we know most of the cards. We have had a good old look at the deck list. We even showed the lovely people at home the deck list.
We really did.
So you can't say we don't give you anything. Right now, we're giving you Game 4 of the Grand Finals here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Ghent. And we have got David on 0 lore, sitting there opposite Zan Saeed on 14 lore, who is looking like he's going to be forcing a Game 5 here in the finals. We do see Lady Elegant Spaniel, who I believe is going to be banished, but that means that we're going to bounce the other Nani Stage Manager back to the hand by virtue of that Emerald Chromicon.
Yeah, and right now, Zan Saeed still has game on board, meaning next turn, unless David is able to challenge another one of these glimmers on Zan board, Zan will be able to quest to win.
And that is going to be Game 4. Zan takes it. There's nothing David can do. Zan, and I'm going to pretend he did quest all the way up to 20 for the first time in this match. We're going to a Game 5, Kim.
We're going to a Game 5. We never root for either players, but I love sharing more Disney Lorcana, and in this instance, for the grand final, it feels really fitting that both players going 2-2, we are going all the way to a grand finals, round 5, game 5 of our grand finals to find out which of our players is going to walk away from the Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent with an invitation to the World Championship.
Right, I'll be honest with you, Woody. I love you, man. I'm looking forward to Wilds Unknown like everybody else. We are kind of like 80% of the way through the grand finals of a 4,000-person tournament. So, Kim, I think you figured out the best way to get rid of these toys.
Andy's coming!
Andy's coming!
So we are going to head into game 5, and look, David has won a 2,000-person tournament to get to this grand final, but so has Zan. Zan is playing a fantastic dogs list with which he's earned 42 points this weekend, but so is David. David has won 2 games in this match, but so has Zan. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, to choose between them, but it is worth pointing out David will be going first in this final game. Am I right in, because we've had a few games here, Kim, it's been an hour, right?
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that David actually went second game 1,
Yep.
but had the amazing curve and essentially stole home court?
Yeah, he did indeed. Zan did start out the first game of our best-of-5 grand finals on the play, and this time reversing it. Like we talked about earlier, if we were able to just go back and forth and make it all the way to game 5, it did mean David this time round was going to be on the play. So the question remains, the way we've seen the winner take the game each time, who's going to get their tramp out first? Who's going to be able to sing Under the Sea? Last game, Zan took the win. Didn't even need to get a tramp out to sing that Under the Sea. All we needed to do was shift Lady Miss Park Avenue in between a tree, another dog, I believe, and
yes.
Lady Miss Park Avenue. They were all going to sing together that Under the Sea to really gain complete control of that board.
And the thing is, that actually happens to turn earlier than Tramp, because you essentially played a Miss Park Avenue on the turn you would have played Tramp, but you can immediately sing Under the Sea. That worked really well for Zan in the previous game. Could we see either players going for that route instead, trying to jump? And if one player is going to do it, I think it's more likely that Zan would try it, because they are essentially a turn behind it. They're going second, so maybe they can do what they did in the previous game and use that to take back that home court, jump over David despite going second. Oh no, there's been a disaster at the table.
Zan was liking those Under the Seas too much. He started to spill some water of himself to make him feel like he was going under the sea, it seems. But hopefully it didn't get anywhere on the cards. But I think we're just going to have to clean up a little spill a second. But still, showing the amazing Disney Lorcana community here in the room, both players smiling, and both players have come so far regardless, seeing like we're just going to clean up that little spills and really just wanting to feel like he was a little bit under the sea.
I think we might be looking to maybe swap out the playmat. You can't see it, but there's people running around back here. Maybe we can find a dry playmat to carry on with a final game. It's not like we're trying to play game 5 of the grand finals here or anything.
It almost feels like Zan spilled that water on purpose because he wanted to try to summon, like the great illuminary summoned our Illumineers to the great illuminary up in the sky. It feels like Zan tried to spill that water all over the place to trying to get under the sea and like summon that under the sea so he can get it first. But now we're ready. We got a new playmat, or maybe we dried the playmat. Who knows? Let's gonna call it a new playmat. But now we are finally ready, once Zan doesn't spill any more water, to bring you our game 5 of our final round, until we find out which of one of our Illumineers here is going to walk away with their hands on a ticket to the World Championship.
And this is it now, right? We have shown you so much Disney Lorcana this weekend. We are out. This is it. This is the last game. We've shown you all the way through day 1 twice. We've shown you all the way through day 2, top 32, top 16, top 8, top 4, the final, and now the grand final final, because we, of course, had 2 finals from our 2 days. There's nothing else to show you. We're 4 games into our best-of-5 grand final. Worth noting, were it a best-of-3, David would have already punched his ticket to the World Championships. Now, instead, we're playing a best-of-5. Could Zan use this extra game to actually even things up? Be careful with the water, guys!
Don't spill the water. We don't want to summon, but there's the sportsmanship, just showing how beautiful our Disney Lorcana community is. And he's keeping that water way, far away from the playmat this time.
We don't have infinite playmats. They're very big.
And it seems like both of our players are now ready to go. We're ready to go. I'm ecstatic. Ross, how are you feeling?
My hype level's pretty high right now. Kim, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm at a solid, like, 9 out of 10 hype level.
Not a 52 out of 10?
Yeah, it feels a lot more like a 52. Where'd 52 come from?
I don't know. It's the first number I thought of.
Okay, I'm at 60 out of 10 because that's what we're playing with
I should have said 42 because both of these players made it into the grand final on 42 points, and that would have been more flavorful, don't you think?
If I had a time machine, Kim, I would go back, and that would be a way better way to do it. But we are getting ready here to start rolling in Game 5. I do believe we are just finishing up the altering hand phase. And is that a 6 card? Yes, Zan is altering his hand by 6 cards here. He has kept a single card. I didn't see what it was. He's only kept 1. The other 6 are going to the bottom of the deck. And we're just going to shuffle up here. And once we're shuffled up, we're going to get rolling. David is going to be our player who is going first. First time they can ink a card. First person to play a card. If we go by the regular curve, the first person to get to Under the Sea. But Zan showed us in the last game, there's more than one way to sing Under the Sea with a pack of dogs. There's a better way to phrase that, but right now, there's the fist bump, and we are going with our last game of the day, Game 5, the decider in the Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent Grand Final. Shout out to the crowd for making some noise.
Yeah, and we do see those opening hands, but of course, this time it is going to be David on the play. Didn't start off this best-of-5 grand finals on the play, but he's going to end it on the play, and it is going to be Decisive Dog into the inkwell, and there's my favorite spray cheese kid. It's been a long day. I'm already forgetting his sub-name, but it is none other than Bobby Zimmerowski.
It is 11:15 local time, but we are not leaving until we've crowned a champion here. And look, job number 1 for David is done here. He needed to have that turn 1 drop. He's got it. Turn 2, you want the Grandmother Willow, and then we cascade down from there. Turn 1, he got what he wanted. Now, we should be able to Zan here, because there's nothing else David can do. Play 1 ink, play 1 card, move over. Zan clearly having a bit of a discussion with himself about what the correct card to ink is. And this is very important, because this is a final game.
No, but you see here, Ross, we're still waiting for David to decide what card we're going to discard. And that card we're going to discard is Lady Elegant Spaniel.
Absolutely right. My apologies there, Kim. You're right. We needed to resolve that ability on Bobby Zimmerowski here. It is Rhino 1/16th hamster, and it is just matching there. Zan playing the Bobby Zimmerowski, your favorite spray cheese kid, as that 1 drop. So both players got what they wanted on turn 1. Worth noting, nobody played a lady, and that would potentially have given that shift option down the line.
Yeah, there's no lady at all, but we could potentially next turn see that Grandmother Willow into a 1-drop lady, and David here with his Bobby Zimmerowski discarding a Lady Elegant Spaniel. Maybe he has another one in hand, wants to take Zan's plan of being able to drop a Grandmother Willow, drop a 1-drop lady, and then being able to turn after to shift our Lady Miss Park Avenue and then sing Under the Sea to gain complete control. And I have a feeling Zan might have that Lady Elegant Spaniel, or a lady anyway, Miss Park Avenue quite possibly in hand when I got a sneaky look-see at his hand there.
But you would also need the Under the Sea in hand as well. One of the reasons why that tramp is so gosh darn good is not just because you can play it cheaply and use it to sing Under the Sea, but it also helps you to find Under the Sea. So that play that Zan pulled off in Game 4, phenomenal play, but it only works if you've got the Lady Miss Park Avenue and Under the Sea in hand so that you can chain those two cards together. Now, Zan is... Well, we've played our card here.
We're also still waiting to decide what to discard, and it is going to be Lady Decisive Dog for Zan being discarded off Bobby Zimmerowski's ability. So cheesy.
It is the other one-drop lady that does get discarded here. So now we're back over to David. Doesn't have the turn to Grandmother Willow. You hate to see it not getting that so quickly here. Had the one-drop but didn't have the Grandmother Willow. And if I'm Zan, I'm going, hang on a second. He's just whiffed that perfect curve, and if you go first and have the perfect curve, huge advantage. Now can Zan play that Grandmother Willow, and also you now don't need to rush for that Lady Miss Park Avenue to try and kind of take that advantage back. If you're the only one with Grandmother Willow, you don't need to rush for the unorthodox play.
And it's looking here like it's Emerald Chromicon being discarded off our Bobby Zimmerowski, the third Bobby Zimmerowski actually in this game. And what a fitting game. Feels like a full circle moment. Feels like, we were only talking about Bobby Zimmerowski in Bologna DLC. And here he is, the fourth Bobby Zimmerowski so far in this final Game 5 of our grand final, going into the Inkwell, meaning we can use that extra ink to play a Lady Decisive Dog.
Oh, and it's whiffing the turn to Grandmother Willow from Zan as well. We are neck and neck here. Both players just getting those one-drops down. But does Zan have a second one-drop to match what David is doing here? It is worth noting that there is a lady on the board here. But without Grandmother Willow, even if you shift up, you will only have 7 cost to sing with. It won't be enough. Now, we are playing that Tramp Enterprising Dog. We're giving the strength boost to Lady, but I think it's largely irrelevant here.
Yeah, I think we actually buffed up that Bobby Zimmerowski.
Oh, apologies.
Seems like we're building a taller, leaning Tower of Cheese.
Still, unfortunately, irrelevant, but yes, taller Tower of Cheese.
Why not?
You did not see how much cheese I had on the pasta for lunch. It was an impressive leaning tower of cheese up. Right now, we've got a Nani stage manager for David here, and this is going to allow him to go and search for another 2-cost or lower card. It is that Tramp Enterprising Dog. Where's all the Grandmother Willow? I can't see the forest for the trees there. There's no trees around.
No, we're staying away from the trees this time round, Ross, because everyone wants to build the Leaning Tower of Cheese as another Bobby Zimmerowski goes into the Inkwell.
And it's under the sea again from Zan. He's done exactly what he did back in Game 4. He's got the 2-drop in the case of Tramp Enterprising Dog. He shifts up into the Lady Miss Park Avenue, combined with a 1-cost Bobby Zimmerowski. That is 8 cost worth of characters. You sing together under the sea, and David's board is looking poor.
Yeah, looks like it's only being managed there by the stage manager. Nani wasn't able to be targeted by that under the sea, but still, now this turn, we know we were able to get a card from Nani last turn into our hand, so there is a few cards we can play, but sadly, this Tramp Street Smart Dog going into the Inkwell can't be played this turn. Well, if those other Glimmers were able to stay to the board, but sadly sent to the bottom of the deck, it instead is going to be Tramp Enterprising Dog coming into play. We're not going to buff the Nani and challenge. We are just going to establish another Glimmer to the board.
We talked at the beginning of the game about whether one of the players would try and copy what Zan did back in Game 4, getting that Lady Miss Park Avenue out and using that as a vessel to sing under the sea. David did not have the cost on the board to make it happen, but Zan, because he had that Tramp, it meant he could. Now remember, because you had Lady, that Tramp became a 1-cost. But even though you only pay 1 cost, it still represents as a 2-cost on the board. And when what we're looking at is the amount of cost you need to sing under the sea, that makes all of the difference here.
Yeah, not to forget, Ross, there's no lore on the board. I believe it was the last game Was it the last game was the only game we saw the Lord actually reach a total of 20, and I don't believe it even reached a total of 20. I think we're pretending it reached a total of 20, because right now, Zan and David, there's no lore between them. It is still anybody's game. But Zan being able to sing the first Under the Sea must be feeling like he's in a pretty good position. And another, is that the fourth Bobby Zimmerowski perhaps? It may be the fifth Bobby Zimmerowski we've seen
5
between them coming into the game. The real star cheese student of the game today, meaning Zan is going to be able to draw a card. He's going to be able to discard a card. Does seem like he discarded the Emerald Chromacon, and we are going to be also playing a Lady Decisive Dog to the board, and then we can finally start getting some lore on the board, bringing Zan's lore total up to 4.
And this is what you see. Dan played Under the Sea, or sang Under the Sea, and he had such a big advantage from that. He's now going, look, my board's way better than yours. You are now forced to try and interact with my board in a way that I don't. And if you build up your board too much, I can sing Under the Sea in a way that you can't. So for the time being, I'm just going to sit here and quest. And if you build up too much of a board, I'm going to Under the Sea ya. And if you don't build up too much of a board, I'm going to outrace you. It is a great position to be if you are Zan. Was that just a pass from David there?
That was just a pass with David there. We could have used both of our glimmers to challenge into this Lady Miss Park Avenue, but it seems like we just drew a card and passed. 3 cards in the hand for David. It is hardly the 3 Under the Seas in his deck.
Is it actually?
I've no idea, but
Okay.
I'm just hypothesizing.
It can't be a very good hand, not if you are drawing and passing. And we saw that David broke serve in game 1. After that, games 2, game 3, game 4, the player going first actually was the player victorious. We see Tramp, Street Smart Dog coming down. It's going to draw 5 cards and then discard 5 cards. Zan's not going to have a large hand, but he is going to have a hand which is basically exactly what he wants it to be at this stage. He can then quest out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, putting him up to 12. Zan actually, if he just quests out with what's on the board, he will be, not on game next turn, not on match next turn, on tournament next turn. Tournament on board.
Yeah, it's
Next
looking
turn.
really great for Zan Saeed here. And we also have the potential, if we do have an Under the Sea, to also get rid of this Tramp Enterprising Dog. Could be teamed up with the likes of Adela Moon's Lullaby. But we are going to be discarding those 5 cards. And David wanted to have a look at them. Here you go, have a look at my discard. And get ready, because it's another Tramp.
Oh, my word, Kim, that was impressively done. And the thing is, because you had 6 glimmers down, that's a 1-cost Tramp. But then you get to draw 6 and discard 6. Are we looking for Emerald Chromacon?
Maybe we're looking for an Emerald Chromacon, but it's kind of strange that we discarded one with Bobby Zimmerowski than the turn before instead of keeping it in hand to
Potentially.
play. But instead, maybe we're just looking for a Adela Moon's Lullaby and an Under the Sea, perhaps, to just really take control of the board. Or maybe we're just playing another Tramp for the funsies. We're going to discard a load of cards, and then we're just going to fully quest out to win. Or maybe we were hoping to draw into another Tramp Enterprising Dog, leaving our Lady Decisive Dog. So next turn, we will be able to quest.
There's 10 on board for next turn, which means if Zan doesn't quest with one more thing here, then unfortunately will not quite have game on board next turn. What I like to call cheeky lore gained in a way other than by questing, is not something we see in this deck. Well, I don't think there's a Go-Go Tomago in here. So either way, it's not something we're expecting to see. And what that means is that you are going to have to wait one